I'm going to introduce you. Simon's going to... Simon, how are you going to feed in here? No, I think you are going to feed in. So basically, I've got some things to ask.
Okay, so we're not supposed to laugh.
First person to laugh first.
You laugh, you lose.
We're going to do the laughing.
Nori, it's Johnny's joke. You shouldn't have any problem not laughing.
Well, I see I've read them already.
Yeah.
I'm quite funny.
Thank you. I didn't try.
Famous cities and historical sites all on board.
Okay, guys, we're live on Facebook now, so if you want to look angry.
I think I should stand, face each other.
Okay, stand.
Between May
I think you should stand.
Face It's as much about the ship as it is about the destinations. Contact White Star.
Is everything still in shot? Okay.
463.
You can put one glove on each one hand.
Visit www.whitestar.co.za.
One glove on John.
Beyond today. Think tomorrow and what your business is destined to be.
Brian.
Think beyond waiting.
Go, Brian, go!
Access to Think wireless. Think voice and IT security. Think beyond missing that important deadline.
Johnny?
Think beyond empty promises.
You know much?
I don't know what you're going to ask me about, but I don't know.
You want to get closer, or is it
That's
just...
good.
Okay.
Brian, I'm going to talk to you a little bit first before we go in. Okay. So I just want to have a quick chat with you about. I want to set it up. Okay, and then I'll set the boxing up after that. Okay, so John, just wait. Let me introduce him.
Cheeses and olives, confectionery, family, 300 different estate wines, dried prawns, and luscious oysters. The Oyster Wine and Food Festival, 1st to 3rd September at Monte Casino.
Wednesday, Hot 919, old school legend Brian Mitchell is in the studio. Morning, Brian.
Morning.
You've been brought in this morning by Ava's chauffeur drive.
Yes, thank you.
Nice enough drive, I hope.
Yes, fantastic guy.
You're taking pictures of Brian all the time, man.
Taking pictures, yeah. Only problem is you're supposed to fetch me home at 6:30, and he rang my bell at 6:45.
Well, that's Avis for you.
So
What is on
he's
time?
a great guy, but he was definitely on time.
But now, as a boxer, you would have been up and having raw eggs, and you would have run around the block with a towel around your neck,
I
right?
would have already done my 10Ks this morning.
Yeah, exactly. So that was no
but
problem.
at 56, I didn't do 10Ks this morning.
Just did 5.
And happy birthday, by the way.
Yes,
very
happy
much.
birthday. Of course, we're going to be having a chat with you after our bout, which is the most important thing at the moment. We want to get
Yes.
John Walland out of the way, which I don't think you're going to have
Yeah,
difficulty
John
with.
Walland's basically going to be the Conor McGregor of today.
Yes,
I'm going to
exactly.
pull a Mayweather on him.
Yeah,
But
well,
if my legs get wobbly, will you please stop the fight? There's no judge
We'll
here.
get the referee to stop the fight like they did too early with McGregor.
do you think it was too early?
Yeah, well, no, not really. From a safety point of view, the referee, it's a great referee. He did his job, what he's supposed to do. But because Conor McGregor is such a big mouth and came into it and the whole build-up, the referee should have let him get hit on his back, basically.
Yeah.
Because he still got up and he still complained and said, "Oh, well, I was okay."
Yeah.
I mean, the referee, he should have kissed the referee for saving him.
I mean, he did say.
I mean, he still had a big mouth after he'd just been knocked out.
And he could hardly walk. And I think it was in the 9th round. He was actually struggling to stand without
He
bouncing
couldn't
off.
stand for
And no one was
around
touching
7.
him. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Have you ever experienced that when your legs go or when you think your legs are going to go? Is it just an exhaustion
No,
thing?
but my opponents have.
Many.
Get ready, John.
All right, well, listen, we're going to be chatting more to Brian Mitchell as we go through the show this morning. But first and foremost, the most important part, John Walland said yesterday, he said, I can take on Brian.
Well, the boss, Lloyd Madura, actually came up and said to me, there's a big purse as a prize. And he said, would you consider it? And I said, yes, in the interest of the
I
station.
hope it's US dollars and not Zimbabwean dollars.
Well, you know, exactly. I think the big purse is there.
Yeah.
We've now got it on. We're, by the way, broadcasting live on
It's actually
Facebook.
one of Anne, our receptionist's old handbags.
What sort of purse is that?
I mean, is it just a purse or is it filled with dollars?
No, it's got
So it's
absolutely
got other
nothing
little
in it.
purses in it as well.
It's just a purse. It's literally
so
just a purse.
downgraded me to no purse
Oh,
to knock out John Walland.
I can't believe it,
It's still worth it.
I think it's still worth it. I mean, the one thing, and Simon will back me up here, I mean, the one thing that he said, John, yesterday was, Brian who?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Brian,
I
I've
heard
noticed
that.
that we
I
go
heard
back a
that.
long way, and you know that I've always had the utmost respect for
Oh,
you.
stop trying to brown
Yes.
us now.
John's exact words, Brian, yesterday were that you were overrated as a boxer.
Brian, you know that I would never say anything like that, and don't listen to what Simon has to say.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to go into the stadium. We are live at Hot 919 in a specially built
Sure.
Boxing ring, especially for today's title fight between Brian Mitchell. Of course, Brian Mitchell, an internationally acclaimed sporting icon. He has been a 14-time undefeated world boxing champion and the only South African professional boxer to be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in New York back in 2009. John Walland has been a sports presenter on many different radio stations over the years, never had a fight in his life, married twice, and still struggling to find sponsors. Other than that, things are looking good. First, though, Brian Mitchell comes into his traditional trademark song. It is, of course, in the red corner, Mr. Brian Mitchell. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen.
Simply the Best by Tina Turner.
That's what you used to come
I
into.
beat Tony Lopez to the song. He got Eye of the Tiger.
He got Eye of the Tiger, and now on the blue corner.
And 2 black eyes.
And coming
Tame
in.
the Tiger.
Talking about taming the tiger, here comes Johnny Walland to his song. Johnny, sporting presenter, he knows everyone, but yet to win a fight.
Oh, it's
All right, here we go though. Today's title fights. So, pretty much the rules are going to be like this. We have got 12 jokes each. The first person to laugh as we spar for victory today will in actual fact be the one knocked out and defeated in the biggest boxing title fight on Hot 919. We kick off with the undefeated champion, and that is Brian Mitchell.
Right, Johnny boy. It annoys.
Hold on, sorry. Look him in the eye, John.
Yeah, right.
All right? Look him in the eye.
Hold on, before we go there, Johnny, I've got a very important person who's just stepped into the ring. And Brian, it's up to you. Here we go.
Michael Buffer's patented those words. Right, Johnny, it annoys me how unrealistic films are. There are 8 Fast and Furious movies and not once have they stopped for petrol.
2 cannibals are eating a clown. One of them looks to his friend and says, "Does this taste funny to you?"
Wife, why do you talk about my weight behind my back? Husband, by the time I get around the front, I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Well, my wife complained, Brian, that I never see things from her point of view, so I looked out of the kitchen window.
Give a man a fish and you'll feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and he will spend hundreds on equipment he will use 3 times a year.
I asked to switch seats on a plane one day, and I sat next to a screaming baby. And the air steward basically looked at both boarding passes, and apparently that's not allowed if the baby's yours.
My wife asked me if she could have a little peace and quiet while she cooked dinner. So I took the battery out of the smoke detector.
Well, I popped into my neighbour's house last night, and chatting, he decided to put some meat on the fire at the last minute. He nodded knowingly and said that your feet were...
Is Johnny going? He's going!
Your feet were clearly too far apart. No, your feet were too clearly far apart.
Doing a crossword, I asked the wife, what's a 4-letter word for a female relative? Ends in U-N-T. Any clues to that?
I've been having a problem with nuisance phone calls as well.
Johnny's going!
The most common one seems to be you said you'd be home from the pub 3 hours ago.
Wife said aunt. I said pass the Tipex.
Oh, you should finish your
Last
joke.
night I reached for my liquid Viagra.
Whoa, John's laughing! He's laughing! Johnny, you are out! And the winner today, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Brian Mitchell.
Congratulations, my legs are a little bit wobbly, but why didn't you let it carry on?
Oh, fantastic. All right.
John O'Gregor Walland
And Brian Mitchell!
We're speaking to Brian Mitchell after 8 o'clock. He is our old school legend in studio today. Good morning. This is Breakfast, Hot 919.
Take the gun off.
Thank you, Brian.
Take the gun off.
Let's have a post-match chat. Come.
And then, Brian, I want to have you back in studio to talk about normal things.
Yes, okay.
Just about, about what you're doing and all the rest of it.
We're having a post-match chat. live. How much time we got, Marky?
It's fine, we're going into news.
So not a lot of time.
No, yeah, you got 2 minutes.
You can do it.
Okay.
That's John. Thanks in here.
Take these glasses.
That's it. You do the you blading thing, eh?
Yeah. Johnny?
Yes. Yeah, not the first.
Johnny?
Yes, sir.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Can we put this over? Yeah. Okay.
We're on Facebook Live right now, and it's over to me to hand over the big purse to Brian Mitchell. Brian, well fought in there.
Thank you.
Well played. Johnny, come be a gracious loser.
Oh, I'm just actually putting a couple of plasters on now. I'm actually overwhelmed, but what a fight, and it's an absolute honour and a privilege to have been able to fight against an absolute legend in Brian Mitchell. Brian, may you go from strength to strength.
Thank you, Johnny.
A real knockout here at Hot919.
Thank you, Hot20.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks,
And the scary
Hot
thing-
91.9. I just want to say, there's no dollars in this bag. Maybe they've got 400 million in it.
Well, these are the purse strings, I guess, at the end of the day. Brian, good stuff. I mean, I must admit it was difficult not to laugh at some of your jokes, but well done and well executed, like you with a good punch, a good southpaw, something really special. And I tell you what,
All right, that's enough,
for
John.
A long while.
Done.
Johnny,
Yeah, give me a closer.
Okay.
The scary thing about that whole fight was that Johnny has told those jokes at least 4 times, one still laughed at them.